Hey everyone, this is Edward West Summers, Fierce Crimson Speedster. I figured I'd do another video, and I've had this on my mind for a while, or at least the past few days, and I've wanted to do this. And this stuff is just getting so crazy with all of this video is going to be both about with the SJWs and the anti-SJWs, because while I want to point out something, I am not SJW. I don't support, like, with any agendas or anything in comics. I just want good books with great characters, and they can be diverse. It's not about with the race. It's about just having good stories and also respecting the older characters too. But what I feel like I should point out, and I have a better article that I should have this with, because I just heard about the news yesterday with Mark Waid and Richard C. Meyer, that they were going, I think they're going to court, or that Richard Meyer or Diversity in Comics is suing Mark Waid. I think it was under harassment issues. I don't know the details really, but because how this started, I feel like I should point out, while I'm not SJW, I have seen some very crazy anti-SJWs. There was one guy, I won't go into details, but he posted a video because of one vague comment about here's the article right here. One vague comment about with political stuff or political topics in Daredevil season 3 or whatever. And I pointed out, I told the guy, I said, I've watched at the time when I wrote the post, I had seen 3 or 4 episodes. I didn't see any SJW stuff. It was just a good story. And that I also had mentioned that the showrunner had pointed out that he was treating the season as if it was his own run of the comics, which is actually a really creative thing. I've never, like, out of all of the superhero shows I've seen, I've never seen somebody say, like, I'm going to take this season and have it be like my very own run of the Daredevil comics. And I think that's really cool. And he also said that they were taking, it wouldn't be a full-on adaptation of Born Again, but it would be having like inspirations of Born Again and the Guardian Devil story arcs of Daredevil. So, and like I said, and it's just like, when the guy said, the new showrunner, when he said about political whatever, I don't think like that he was putting his own personal political agenda or whatever in the show. I think it was more like taking like the compelling elements of politics, like House of Cards, like having it mean something, having it be like very interesting and intriguing for the story, kind of like how Watchmen. I've heard Watchmen was a very political story, but it was a very, very intense, very major book, and that's what I thought. Give me a sip of some Pepsi. That's what I thought that what they're doing with the show. And I'm almost through with the season. It's been a great season. It's been, like, on par, maybe even better than season 2. And season 2 had Punisher and Elektra, you know? But like I said, to all of the SJWs out there, I'm going to say this. I lean more towards anti-SJW, but I think some of the anti-SJWs are kind of crazy, that like any tiny thing, even if it's like having new characters of like in DC's case, because they had new Superman, Ken and Kong, and I've read just about every issue. There was no politics. There was no um, saying anything about like them thinking that they're better because of their race. There wasn't any of that. They were great, compelling, new, interesting characters, and I thought that was really cool. But I think that the backlash of with Marvel, most of Marvel's new diverse characters that range, like I've heard like Miles was good. Kamala has the opportunity to be good. So it ranges, like you have those characters, and then you have characters like um you have characters like Riri Williams and America Chavez. I'm not full on saying they're agenda characters, they're just not good characters. Um but to all of the SJWs, stop putting any agendas or anything in the comics. Just focus on writing good stories, because that's what people pay the comics for. They don't pay 2, 3, 4.99 to read 30 issues of like being preached of an agenda. They just want to read their favorite superhero, you know, and have like read their favorite superhero and read like adventures of like the next adventures of this character, or just good stories with compelling characters and good writing. To all of the anti-SJWs, stop when it's a tiny thing that you don't like, stop blowing it out of proportion. If it's something that's like really, really bad, I'm one of the people, I didn't like that they made Iceman gay. He was never gay, and I think that it's kind of stupid that they'd have a nosy telepath tell him he's gay even though he wasn't gay. Um, but I didn't like that. I detest Riri Williams, and I've heard America Chavez, I've heard her solo comic is horrible. But what's really unfortunate was the fact, because America Chavez wasn't introduced in her solo comic. It's kind of it was kind of bullshit that there was one website saying that she was the best new hero to come out that year in 2016. And that's kind of BS, because she didn't come out in 2016. She actually came out in 2013. Her character was introduced in that Young Avengers run that was in 2013. And I've actually heard her character was actually better there. It wasn't anything. She was a really compelling new character. And then she got ruined when they did her solo comic. But what I'm saying is that with America Chavez is that, like, I don't like Riri Williams. I think America Chavez, had they not gone the route they did with her solo comic, she could have been a good new character. But I don't even know if there's any redeeming her now. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's just, like, to all of the like they said, like there was people who said that Batman was being emasculated because of the whole thing that they had him naked. And when you take the particular scene in context, he was alone in the Batcave at like midnight or 1 a.m. He had, I think, a concussion or something, and he was trying to walk it off. Went back to the Batcave, got out of the Batmobile, and got out of the Batsuit. They've even said that the comic was supposed to have like a moment where he is in his most vulnerable state. If this was emasculating him, he would be, like, if it was really emasculating him, he would be in public. The Joker or Harley or one of the other villains would have kidnapped him, stripped him naked, and then put him on display for everybody. But they didn't do that in the comic. So he's not, unless there's somebody else there in the Batcave, or unless it's like in a public place, he's not being emasculated. And it's really crazy that people would think that. I'm not saying anything about like that some of these people are like they'll say this about a male superhero but not a female, like, or that they'll go all the way saying like, oh, about with a female superhero to see them naked or whatever. But it's just so crazy because there's people saying that. There was people saying that there's the one guy I mentioned saying that Daredevil season 3 had gone SJW, and it's got to stop. I mean, it's like what Jeremy on Geeks and Gamers had said. He reviewed a movie. I can't remember what the movie was. I think it was Ant-Man and the Wasp. He said that he watched it. There was nothing in it that made it out to be SJW. He said if everything is SJW, then nothing is. I know we might not all, any of my viewers, we might not all agree with the channel. I watch this channel because it's I'm just tired of like the direction they're taking Star Wars in. And he's made it clear, I mean, he had made it clear that he didn't like where they went with Last Jedi. And that's his opinion. But what I'm trying to say is that when you make, and this is something I pointed out to the Daredevil Season 3 SJW guy, any time when somebody makes a argument, when they say like, oh, this is gone SJW, this is gone, or that's gone, this is gone SJW. Any time when you say that, especially in Daredevil season 3's case, anytime you say that about something that hasn't gone SJW, you're taking away the legitimacy of stuff that actually has gone SJW. So, like, just back. If it's something that really has gone SJW, you can, like, then you can go on about it. But when it's something that hasn't, don't say that, oh, it has, it's going SJW. Because it takes away the legitimacy, the legit arguments of stuff that actually has gone SJW. I mean, anybody can see that. Anybody can see that. And it's really crazy that some of these people would say, oh, this has gone SJW, when there's nothing in the season. They said that Jessica Jones season 2, that it was full of stuff that bashed men, and that that every male was like cucked out or an idiot or whatever, or evil. And I'm like, if the season really was, somebody can point out in the comments to point it out for me. If the season really was this man-hating whatever, then why at the end of the season, why did she end up being with the new guy that moved in? I forget his name. He was the Hispanic guy with the kid. Why did she like connect with him on some level? If she really was some feminazi, she would be saying like, oh, you are canceled, or you must die because you're a man or something. She didn't. And like, and they had, I thought, like, towards like near the end of the season, they had a good connection that they could like, that they could make, like, that was somebody, I thought that would be, and I hope that they can continue this in season 3. I thought that was somebody that could, after her strained relationship with Malcolm and Patsy just going off the deep end like she did, I thought that the guy there who moved in, like near the end of the season, that would be a healthy connection, a healthy relationship that Jessica could have. Because right now, more than ever, I mean, she would need somebody to connect with. And after everything that happened with Patsy and then with Malcolm, I think she needs somebody to open up to. But people were saying all this stuff. I'm like, I actually watched the season. I watched the whole season. And I understand it's not quite as good as season 1 because there's no Kilgrave, there's David Tennant. There's not as much David Tennant. I still thought it was a decent season. I thought the whole relationship that she had with her mom was very compelling, and I was really mad and frustrated when Patsy, being the idiot she is, went and killed her mom. But all of this stuff, but that's what I'm saying, that's the point I'm trying to make, is that, like, I don't support where Marvel is going with preaching with the SJW stuff in the bad books. Some of their books are still okay. Some of their books are still genuinely good, but some of them have just lost it. But like I said, I don't like that, but with anti-SJWs saying like, oh, this is gone and this is gone, and that's not helping anything. If a character is being like completely ruined and they introduce some new character, like if they had done season 4 and they went and like they totally diminished, like say for example, if they had done season 3 where they totally diminished Matt and Daredevil to have more focus on Karen. Karen is a good character. I think like she's compelling and it's good where she is. It's still Daredevil. It is still the Daredevil show. Having more focus. If it's like, I like how they did the episode Karen this season, but I mean if they went and they had like the whole season be about her, or if they went and they completely like pussified Daredevil for her, or they brought up some other BS agenda or something, then I would complain about Daredevil season 3. I've watched 11 freaking episodes at this point. I haven't seen anything overly pushed. But regarding this here with Mark Waid, I think that, and I've heard that Mark Waid, I've heard he's just like with other people like Dan Slott and whatever, I've heard that they're assholes on Twitter. They are completely disrespectful to not just anybody who calls out SJW, but I mean any of their fans. I've heard Wade has, I don't know, at some point he just lost it. I heard he used to be a great writer, like with The Flash. He had the amazing Flash run. He did, Irredeemable, I think, and that was another good book, but something happened to him, and he lost it. But I think that, like, if any of that's true, if Mark Waid had gone and doxed Richard C. Meyer, then yes, Richard C. Meyer, Diversing Comics, should sue Waid for that and for anything else Waid had done, if that's all legitimate. The only reason why I say I'm not saying because I have doubts is because I don't keep up with this stuff. I don't keep up with this drama with Diversity in Comics and Mark Waid and whatnot. I have other things to do in my life. I don't have time for more drama, especially after everything I've already been through. But that's all I'm saying, though, is that if Waid really did do these things, then yes, he should be sued over it. But that's all I can really say about that. My battery on my tablet's getting low. I'm gonna have to wrap this up. But that's what I'm saying. I'm just tired of all of this. I just want fun comics. I just want fun, interesting comics, and it gets tiring seeing people either putting agendas in comics, or people just pushing stuff that isn't there. And it's just crazy. Anyways, I'm gonna do one other quick video, because today's, obviously, it's all well, not Hallows Eve, because that's October 30th. It's Halloween, and I'm gonna do a much more positive, quick video with Halloween and whatnot. So, this is Edward West Summers, Fierce Crimson Speedster, signing out.